Hi there, I'm Wendy Stone, your host and reader for Storytime. Tonight we'll be continuing Dog Upon Atlas into Chapter 4. I hope you've been well. I inched the bowl of steaming liquid nitrous under my nose, let it absolve the previous night and the heaviness around my eyes. "Africa," I yelled between laps. "You make the best coffee in New York. What do you put in this stuff?" My daughter trotted into the office, looking brighter and perkier than I could ever remember feeling. "Could you at least pretend to have an ounce of wear?" I said. The diamond-shaped patch of white fur on her forehead crinkled. "Curmudgeonly, Pops," she said. "That coffee is supposed to burn some of that out of you." "Sorry, it's like glue in there, sweetie. So, you found a mate yet?" "There we go," she said. "That's normal. You inserting yourself into my love life." "Lack, sweetie. Lack of a love life." "Hey," she said, "at least you haven't mentioned thumbs in the last 24 hours. "Speaking of thumbs, you see the human getting walked earlier? The thumbs on that thing like frickin' snakes." And the counter is back down to 0. She eyed the manila folders on my desk. "Dad, it's time. You have to let these go. Do I need to tell you you're almost out of credits?" "Nope, you don't need to tell me." I could barely afford groceries. I'd be back to City Squirrel tacos before long. "Sometimes you lose," she said. "It happens. Maybe all these dogs don't want to be found. Maybe they ended up in the countryside." I didn't need to open a single folder. I knew the details of every case, of each missing dog, and the sighting of the black van my only clue until last night. Now I was looking at a probable connection. Half-breeds, like Jomi. But I needed better pictures, more pictures of the missing dogs to confirm. And then there were the 3 out of 6 missing dogs. Adoptions. What were the odds? And what better way to get rid of an unwanted half-breed than to give them up for adoption? My eyes dragged over the other thing on my desk that was giving me heartburn. The answering machine. That little yellow blinking light, teasing me, insulting me. Listen to the messages, Deacon. What could possibly be so bad about... Messages from a wife, a husband, a son, a daughter, asking what news I had of their missing loved one. And what did I have to offer them? Zip. "You're not going to tell me what happened yesterday," Africa said. "I know you're not telling me everything. You smell like a carcass." She was smelling the morgue and the hospital, the chemicals. Nearly impossible to get those smells out of the fur. And I hadn't told her about Jomi. I couldn't even ask the question. The last time she'd seen Jomi, or if they were still friends. I kept telling myself all morning that it wasn't the right time. After coffee, after lunch, tomorrow. Yeah, right, I knew the truth. I was avoiding seeing that look on her face. One more cup of Java, I told myself. Then thought of Benson laid out in the hospital bed and how I'd promised to do the right thing. This seemed in line with that. "All right, Affy." I sat straighter in my chair, arranged the folders in a neat fan, pushed the pencils and pad of paper into a perfect square. "I need you to sit down and listen to me. I got something to tell you." Finally, she sat in the chair across from me like a client. "Shoot, Pops. Don't hold back. You know I can deal with anything." Sure, I softly growled. "All right, here it is. I almost had them last night, Affy. I almost had the leader." "Of the dirty mongrels?" she laughed. "I keep telling you, Pops, there's no such thing. Whoever you imprinted, it's somebody else. Maybe another gang using the same name because it already has a rep. But it's fairy tales. There's no such group." "I'm telling you, there is. I seen them driving that van around. All my street dogs seen the same thing. And I chased one of them frickin' mongrels into the East River last night." "Then you're not seeing what you think you're seeing, and neither are your moles. Remember, the eyes lie, but the nose always tells the truth." Every time we had the same circular argument every time I brought them up. Why was she fighting me on this? "That doesn't matter," I said. "It's not what I wanted to tell you. Here it is. No more dancing around it. You see, Africa? Last night Both our heads popped up, ears perked, my nose taking in long, deep snoutfuls of what had just parked on the street 1 story below. "What is that?" she asked and sniffed. "Very good, sweetheart. Your nose is improving." "And my ears," she said. "That's an expensive engine." We listened as 3 car doors opened then shut. New scents wafted up through the open windows on the opposite side of the room. My blood chilled. Africa must have picked it up from my markers. "Pops, what's up?" "That right there is a smell of power and wealth," I said, then listened to them enter the first floor of the building, pause for a moment, then continue up the ramps toward my office. Sweetie, why don't you take the morning off? You work too much for me anyway. Get to your clinic." "Forget it," she said, her left lip curling in the start of a growl. "I can smell them coming up the ramp. That is the smell of power. Contrived and stolen power. That's a clan member." My daughter was a smidge outspoken, with a temper to match. Got that from her father. But I'd spent the better part of my adult life avoiding the clans. This could only mean trouble. All right, be calm," I told her. "We don't know what they want or why they're here. The last thing I need to be doing is bailing you out of jail." "I can keep it in check, Pops. Can you?" "Good question." I hustled from behind my desk, through the lobby to the front door to head them off, figuring they were headed to the seamstress that lived on the 3rd floor or had the wrong building and would benefit from my telling them so. Yeah, right. 3 shadows stopped outside the door, 2 on their hinds, 1 on lanky legs. 2 dogs and 1 human. The bigger dog stepped to the door and opened it. It was all I could do not to laugh. He was huge, probably close to 200 pounds, passing 7 feet on his hinds, wearing the tightest black paunch I'd ever seen, with a curious embroidered logo at the lapel. I read, "Oh no." This week had gotten worse, unbelievably. The logo belonged to the Bricktail clan. Well, I hope you enjoyed that chapter, and I will see you next time. In the meantime, remember, find a nice fire and stay warm.